This is a comparison of the trams in Sarajevo in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sarajevo is a very interesting city as it's got some new modern towers with some very good spec lifts in them, alongside the old Eastern European infrastructure, such as the tram system. At the time I was filming this, the old trams were currently being replaced with some new Stadler trams, but let's start off with some old trams, and let's start off with some classic Tatra K2 trams. These are very similar to the T3, but with a bendy section. Then, let's now take a look at the new trams, which are the Stadler Tango trams. These are currently replacing all of the trams on the system.
Sljedeće stajalište, Energoinvest. Sljedeće stajalište, Alaz.
So then, let's now take a look at some old doo-wag trams. then, there was actually quite a few trams I sadly didn't manage to see because they've already been withdrawn. Take a look at this picture. Notice a very interesting, very old looking tram on the left. Really disappointing I didn't manage to take a ride on this one. Also notice on the right, there's actually some newer looking trams which have already been withdrawn before the others, so they must have not been in very good condition. Also previously, there's some second-hand trams from Amsterdam in the Netherlands, but despite not being that old, these have been replaced long before all of the others, so they can't have been very reliable. And now let's take a look at some classic Tarcher KT8 trams. Notice that this is a bi-directional tram that's been converted into a unidirectional tram. The rear cab is no longer in use, and on the other set of doors, notice they've added boards across where the steps are to make these doors no longer in use. Also, this tram's got a classic Eastern European style DC pulsing drive. So then, that's the trams complete. Let's now take a look at the trains. And let's first go along to the second most important station in Sarajevo. And I'm not joking, this is actually Sarajevo's second station. And take a look at the platform. And that is all there is to it. Just this tiny strip of platform between two tracks, which you can only board and leave the train through one set of doors because the platform is so small. The railways in Bosnia and Herzegovina are very run down, and it seems like they're mainly just used for freight, with passenger services being a very small extra part to the railway, as the passenger trains are very infrequent. And here is a goods train. And here is an old train. This train is not in public service, but it's just used to take workers to and from the various goods trains. And now let's take a ride on a passenger train. here is Sarajevo's central station. This station looks very run down. It almost looks like it's abandoned. Why does this station feel abandoned? The central station for the capital city of the country, and it feels fucking abandoned. Weird this is. Such a strange country. You see, this used to be grand in its day. A long time ago this would have been a prestige grand place, but now it seems like Bosnia is seeming to run down their railways. At least it's not as bad as Albania, where the railways have completely collapsed. So then, let's now take a look at Sarajevo's trolley buses. There's two types of trolley bus here. Let's start off with the older type of trolley bus. And now let's take a look at the new trolley buses.
Benvenuto.